And welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen. It's IBL Unscripted, and tonight we're joined by Barrie Baycats GM and manager, Josh Matlow. Josh, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to sit down and just get the update on the state of the franchise of the Barrie Baycats. You guys,
thanks for having me, Neil.
You guys always make a big splash, usually the day or two after the signing, I guess the signing period starts. You guys were just busy inking everybody you could think of, batting down all the hatches as soon as possible, which is always nice to see because, you know, some other teams it takes forever to get even the smallest little trickle of information, but not in your case. We had a good number of signings going on. You're still signing some other players. It looks like you signed 2 more imports recently as well, Cesar Rosado and Carlos Sano as well, so hopefully I said their names right and didn't say something wrong there. Don't want somebody from the Dominican suddenly saying, hey, you say my name wrong all the time. Yeah. So tell me about these new guys. And then we'll start and we'll go through the infield and we'll go to the outfield as well, and we'll go through the rotation.
So last year we I thought we had good pitching, but we needed to address our starting pitching, and I guess we were a little unlucky. Since I came on, 2020 was a canceled season. 2021 we didn't have imports. 2022 maybe we had half the imports. The visas took forever, so we never really kind of hatched down on the full rotation. Last year we thought we had it. Again, a little mishmash there. But this year we wanted to have a full rotation where guys know what their expectations are. They know which game they're pitching. They'll keep us in a ball game every time, and then we know going into every game we kind of know what to expect.
Well, exactly.
We had Cesar Rosado, who actually signed with Toronto last year, but never played with them. Came to us and said, "I want to play in the league." It didn't work out with Toronto. We looked into it. We spoke to a couple guys who knew him and said that he is an elite arm. So he wants to come in. He wants to start. He throws really hard. Throws a lot of strikes, which is huge. So he will start, but if he throws as hard as we think he does, it might be something to consider putting him either in the back of the bullpen or have him in a high leverage situation. So his versatility as a pitcher really kind of perked my interest. So we got him, and then Carlos Sano was he's playing he just finished right now in Nicaragua. He played actually with Juan Benitez a few years back in Nicaragua as well, and he's been, I believe, in the Frontier League of recent. We signed him. I had a few messages from guys in the Frontier. How'd you get him? He's a stud. So he looks like Juan Benitez. He's just bigger, stronger, and apparently goes harder. So So
note to self: don't call him Benitez, but even though he looks a lot like him. Okay, that works.
Well, and then we have Juan Benitez, who's built in as an import pitcher, but he's now a domestic player. So with that, and then we got Frank Garces coming back at the top of that rotation. So hopefully, that kind of answers a few questions on the starting side. We also do have we did sign Christian Lazar. Which if he can get back to where he was at, that would be a really nice addition. And obviously Souls can start too. So we have about 6 starters, which is nice for length.
That's never a bad thing to have in this league, especially with injuries and guys needing time off and whatever else. You have 6 starters, and it's like you're fine.
So those are the new guys on the pitching side of things, and then we have we just signed Noah Hall, former Canadian junior national team. I've been talking to that guy for years. What really perked my interest is that he's a senior this year in college, and those guys are as good as gold because they're not leaving us for the playoffs. And hopefully they're long-term pieces, kind of like your Maves and Ando, who was finishing at Michigan State. And big fan of those guys, obviously, because they don't leave us in the playoffs.
Exactly.
And they could be a long-term piece and part of our core.
No question. And of course, we signed Ryan Rios back as well and everything else. And Ryan's was he at the Super Bowl last week or was he just at Media Day?
He was just at Media Day.
Okay. I was just like,
geez. He happened to be going to Vegas, at the right time. And he left before the Super Bowl. He was here for
no, nice. I think he just also celebrated his birthday last week or something, if not mistaken, too. So, yeah. So what's it going to take for you guys to get back to where you were in the finals? And of course, you just ran into the Welland Jackfish, whose pitchers just went lights out when they had to. They just absolutely shut you guys down.
They were absolute beasts. There's no question. We knew what we had, obviously, in the season, and we knew we should, be up there. And we played really well. We played, I think we were 8-1 at one point in the playoffs. To start the playoffs going into the finals. So we were playing really well. Their pitching was outstanding. their team was outstanding. They were built really nicely. So hats off to Mr. McKay.
Yes, Mr. McKay. It's definitely he did it.
And it's just one of those things where I say it out loud and it doesn't sound right, but I'm going to keep saying it because I think that us losing it, having that taste of almost having it, almost going up 3-1 in the series, could be arguably one of the best things that's going to happen to our core of guys. Learn that feeling and keep that hunger. So I know the guys are excited, and I think that's why they were so quick to sign in the offseason. Yep. It's a testament of what we're doing, what we're building. They all believe in it. They know we're right there, and just to add a few pieces. And I spoke to Frank right after the series, and I said, "Are you coming back next year?" And he goes, "I come back, you make good changes."
You make good changes. No pressure.
That's exactly what he said.
No pressure. No pressure.
No pressure. But I understood what he was saying, and he was right. And we made a few good changes, and we're really excited about our squad this year.
Exactly. Let's just shift gears a slight bit. I want to talk about. I know you guys were making some announcements to trying to get some petitions signed last year to look at another ballpark. Of course, you guys have played on Midhurst, which is not really in downtown Barrie at all. It's kind of really out in the suburbs. Like when we took the draft last year, it was like I forgot how far out it was in relation to Barrie and everything else. It's just like, wow, this is almost like you're playing the Ottawa Senators for crying out loud because they're way out in the middle of the boonies. So how is that going?
So it's a beautiful park, obviously.
Oh, no question it is.
It's quite north of Barrie.
Yeah.
So it's not in the city. It's not on a bus line.
Yep.
You have to drive in order to get to it. So we're looking at hopefully being downtown on the water. Yep. There's a lot of talk about that, and it's quite the process. I'll leave it at that. I don't have any exciting information, but
no. It's just I thought it was
going forward, and that's our short-term plan actually. But I think it would be really cool to have. It'd be great for the economy. It'd be
no question it would be. Yeah.
Go to restaurants and stuff like that.
Yep.
Really boost the economy. There's a lot of condos going in downtown. But make some memories, on the water. Some of the families. I think there's a lot of good times to be had, and hey, maybe it'll help with recruiting.
Yeah, well, exactly. Hey.
Play there, and
guys were like, "Hey, it's raining downtown Barrie," and it's like like you said, you can build things around it too. So you could have you could have like a couple of restaurants or something that stays open, maybe a couple of bars or something there. You could do some tailgating or pregame festivities out there and just have some more fun with people and, just to branch out further outside the baseball circle a little bit.
Yeah, that's it. And then it's, I don't know if anyone's ever been downtown Barrie, but it's quite a time. It's a good time and great atmosphere. And I think it'd be pretty cool to have, that area support a ball club.
Yeah. So as a family man, like we're both dads and everything else, how do you find the balance as far as the baseball schedule and everything else? How do you find the time?
Very, very, very understanding wife.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
I don't know, man. It's one of those things where, it's kind of just been an understanding that if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it properly.
Yeah.
They're very supportive of it. We find a nice, healthy routine. And, the time that I'm not playing, I have to be putting in the time with the family. It only makes sense, right?
Exactly.
So,
yep.
It hurts sometimes when the guys want to go out for some drinks or they want to, having a birthday and I want to be there, but I got to be fair, kind of.
No, exactly. You have to.
A lot of time with them, yeah.
And I know I run into that.
I try my best. That's all I can say.
I run into that too, and I just had the state of the kids meeting on the weekend with my two, as far as my fiance Jenny has two of her own and everything else. They're a little older, but mine are 9 and 13. So it's just like, okay, guys, if Dad's doing this stuff again, you just you have to make sure we sit down. And you guys okay with this? Like, first of all, if you're not okay with it, just say now. Just say now, and everything else.
Well, when I got the opportunity and I first came in 2020, my wife was pregnant.
Yeah.
So I had to ask her basically, approval to kind of take the opportunity while she's pregnant, and then 2021 we have a 1-year-old. And now we're 4 and 2.5. And
oh wow.
It's funny because we had the conversation originally saying, I'd love to have the kids grow up around the ballpark.
Yep.
And come to the games, and they have been now for a couple of years, so it's pretty cool to see.
Oh, exactly. Oh, my son used to dress up as the Grim Reaper and just jinx it. But I don't know. When he was in that costume phase when he was 4 and 5, he'd dress up with like Superman, Batman, everything else. He got this. I don't know who gave him the Grim Reaper costume, but he wore that to the ballpark a couple of times. It just everybody went to a slump, so it was like, don't bring the Reaper to the ballpark anymore.
Superstitious.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go back a little bit. When you were playing in this league, what have you noticed the biggest changes since when you were a player to now where you are in your position as a general manager or manager?
The imports are insanely good. The quality of baseball is insanely good. The competitiveness, it was great back then, but it's developed. You know, you got to keep up with the next team, right? So the quality of ball players, and I think also too back in the day, there weren't a ton of schools available to
No,
us.
exactly.
It was a little bit different. So um, there's schools now I've never heard of.
Yeah.
And even some of the kids signing I've never heard of, but they go out there and they get some work in, and they come back bigger and stronger, and
Hmm.
the quality of young talent too is up there. So all these drive lines and all these technologies, and that's changed too.
Yeah.
So
Well,
everyone's
exactly.
throwing harder, everyone's running faster. You know the story. So
Well,
um, yeah, but I think it's only going to grow from here too. There is also I don't know how many people know this, or if how public this will be at this point, but there will be 5 imports next year.
yeah.
That's going to be a thing. So that's going to increase quality of ball right there. If it goes any higher than that, it's just you're bringing in
Well, exactly.
top quality ball players, yeah, which is
Yeah.
going to really set the bar. So we anticipate it to continuously grow. We're excited to be a part of that, and that's where we're trending.
When you're doing managerial decisions, are you relying a lot on analytics these days, or are you still trusting your gut, trusting what you're seeing more than that, or are you actually looking at analytical numbers as well?
We do a little bit of both. Numbers don't lie, but it's also like you got to trust your gut too. We're not too over the top. We do have an analytics team. They were fantastic. They give us trends. Some of the guys, it's there for them if they look at it or they don't. But if you're 0 for 20 and you're not looking at it,
You may want to look at it and see what's going on here.
take a peek.
Yeah, take a peek.
Some guys are very they're stuck on their patterns, and,
Yeah.
and you read that, and it definitely helps. So, but no, we're definitely old school. The whole coaching staff are old school, but we're open to the new school as well.
Yeah. Okay, well, I always just ask this question to the general manager and the managers. What's on your shopping list right now? That's still, you're in the middle of February. What are you still looking for? You seem to be in a better position than most other teams, so.
Yeah, I think we're sitting at about 22 or 23 guys signed because we don't have a junior team.
Yeah.
We're looking to change that very soon. We're actually allowed 33 guys, so it's 5 juniors that don't work against our roster. But with the 28, we still have some room. I would like to add a few more arms, obviously, to help the load. We have 9 pitchers right now, and 9 of them I trust. I think they're 9 very good pitchers, but it's a long season too, so we don't want to overload them. But I think a couple more arms would be great. And we have quite a few position guys, but it never hurts to have another bat or two.
Speaking of position players and everything else, how's the catching situation as far as how is everybody healing up from last year? How is that going on?
How's Plumpton healing?
Yeah, how's Plumpton healing? That was a freak accident. I'm still not sure how that happened.
So for those who don't know the story, Tyler was hit in the leg by a hit-by-pitch early in the game, and obviously goes numb, and he's a man about it, and he just kind of walked it off and continued, and then
he's catching a bullpen.
Ball down to second in his practice throws in the 9th inning, and his leg snapped, and it fully broke. Yeah. So but he's back. He's playing hockey. He's good. He's out at the workouts. He's catching bullpens. He's doing kind of everything. So he should be back in full force, and with Jaco hopefully healing up and being a little more reliable back there. I think that's a huge piece because we do have a lot of infielders and bodies and corner guys, and but he plays a great third base, so he could play third, he could play first. Jaco's very versatile, but in terms of the catching, I think they're gonna platoon this year. We lost Josh Cote to the Western Canadian Baseball League.
Yep.
He decided to play out there this year. So, but then we also have 3 or 4 guys now that we've signed that also can catch. So
never a bad thing to have a couple of catchers especially when you need them. Especially if you could have another freak injury at some point and everything else.
Yeah.
So let's
old and brittle, as we say. Old and brittle. Sorry, Tyler.
Sorry. Glad you're doing okay, Plumpton. So let's go through the infield. Let's start at first base and work our way around. What's your infield looking like? And then we'll go to the outfield as well.
Well, I can name you the infielders where they play. Again, we're very versatile, and we're very lucky to have utility guys, a lot of utility guys. We got Adam Odd. We got Ryan Rio, who's DH or first base. Now with Noah Hall in the mix. He's a corner guy. We have Royce Ando. We got Kyle Maves. We got Carson Burns. We got Branfy Infante. So
everybody forgets you guys. Everybody keeps forgetting you have Branfy still out there too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's still in. He's signed in. We still have Jaco can play the corners. We have even James Anderson can play corners. Like we have, I think 10 infielders. So where they play, it's tough. It just depends on who's at the game.
Yep.
But they can all play all the positions. I like Carson obviously at shortstop, and Ando's at second, and Odd would be one of the corners. Hall's still in school, so he'll come back. Probably a month in. But again, he doesn't go back to school, so that does definitely helps.
Definitely does help. And then in the outfield, you're pretty solid as far as everybody's
outfield. So we're still waiting on Canisijo. He's chasing the we'll call it the dream, but he's looking to start in the frontier as well.
Yep.
As is Malik Williams. So he's a great he's one of the best center fielders I think I've played with or seen. His routes are insane. 10 out of 10 times his first step is correct. 9 out of 10 times he comes up with the ball, and if he doesn't, he's a foot away. He's unbelievable. We have Brad McQuinn. We signed Zach Orchard, former IBL player for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then we signed an American kid. His name is Ricky Phillips. He played in the Picos, the Mavericks League, a bunch of the independent leagues, and he was the MVP for both those leagues. He had like 27 home runs, 90 RBIs, 30 stolen bases. Like his, come do half of that here, and I think we'd be very happy with him. So in terms of athleticism, that's where we want. He could play any of the 3 outfields, and he's a power bat. So that doesn't hurt.
Exactly. The other thing I wanted to touch on, we just wanted to congratulate. So one of your announcers actually got the call to make the call up to the Toronto Blue Jays. He's now doing the radio broadcast. Ben Schulman.
He was great kid. I was lucky enough to meet him in 2019 when I came in as a volunteer. Ben, his father, ended up coming out to do a game at the Baycats. It was unbelievable because we were playing with the radio. It was on radio at the time. We didn't have the live broadcast on YouTube. So I was volunteering. I was helping scan tickets at the front gate. And I had a little earbud in my ear just so I could
hear the game, man.
And Ben and
that was
listening to Baycats baseball. And the preparation of these guys is just second to none. He knew everything. He knew more about the players than I knew about the players.
Yep.
Their background, where they went, stuff like that. So it was really cool. And Ben is phenomenal talent. He was in I think AA last couple of years.
Yep.
He did some spring training games, and then this year is going to be their radio broadcast.
Well, that's going to be it's a nice feather in the cap for the IBL and of course the Baycats in general to see somebody like that get an opportunity to get called up to the show, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch somebody. We watched a few times, and I think I took a couple of shots at him on Twitter when he kept messing things up with some of the scoring positions or something, the scoring rules. I was like, you got to really read the book. Still,
he was young. He was. He grew quickly.
He did. Josh, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. I know you took some time out of your schedule. Really do appreciate it. Best of luck to the Baycats this season, and we'll be talking again soon.